Joining me now to talk a little bit about her new job as Director of Continuing Education and also of the Community Learning Center and ENCORE program, Liesl Dees is joining me via technology from her undisclosed location. Liesl, good morning. Good to see you.
To visit with you. I think I've got the home office vibe going.
You do. I think you do, and it looks good. So I imagine you're getting a lot done there at the home office these days.
I am, yeah. It's a good way to go these days.
That's true. It's a way to stay safe. I agree. But it's good to connect with you at least this way. And we always kind of connect around this time of year. And so full disclosure, we are kind of pre-recording our conversation. And it is airing in December and also in January in the new year, 2021. So I'll wish you happy holidays and also happy new year.
And to you, Scott, we're looking forward to new changes and we could use some things that are a little different in 2021, right?
We certainly could. I hesitate to say it couldn't be any worse, but I'm hoping it's all going to get a lot better in 2021. So be that as it may. But things that are still continuing is the Community Learning Center and the ENCORE program at San Juan College. You've been offering classes, and so I want to talk to you a little bit about that because as always, you've got some other slate of classes that are going to be offered in the spring.
That's exactly right, Scott. And we'll talk about those and also our Center for Workforce Development classes because they're all part of our continuing education schedule. And you've got a beautiful cover there to show, Scott.
There it is.
Shows what we are offering this spring.
Okay.
And in this schedule, we have, as you said, non-credit classes that are for fun. We've got our very active ENCORE program geared to and we've got workforce classes geared to working learners of all ages. And let me just walk you through the schedule and tell you a little bit about what we did this fall and kind of what we have coming up.
Sounds good. I'll start scrolling through.
Sounds great. Perfect. So both for fall and spring, we went with the idea that if we could offer things online, we should offer things online. And so we had a number of online classes as well as some face-to-face classes for things that, well, it's difficult to have a pottery wheel for every person at their home.
True.
And do that all online. So things that are more hands-on, we offered face-to-face, and that's what we've got in our schedule again. And in the fall, some of those classes we offered, and some of those we postponed because they coincided with more restricted health orders, and so some things we offered as planned and a lot of things we didn't. And that's kind of what we anticipate for the spring, that we will be adapting to circumstances and doing what we need to be appropriate in how we offer our classes.
Okay. Well, and again, this is all part of the following the public health orders as we are here at San Juan College. I know most of the classes on the main campus have been online and virtual and remote, and so it just goes without saying that you and your department would follow the same rules.
Exactly. And Scott, when we do have face-to-face classes, we'll be following those same COVID-safe practices as the rest of the campus, which means things like even when you go to your exercise class at the HHPC, you'd be expected to wear a mask. And that's true of our classes that are off campus as well. We will be following the same protocols for that. We are making sure we wipe down surfaces. We are having social distancing of keeping people 6 feet apart and planning classrooms so that there's ample room for students to be spaced appropriately.
Okay, well, good to know. Let me go back to the catalog here. And so it looks like maybe we're looking at ENCORE classes to start.
Let's do it, Scott.
Okay.
And let's start right at the top there. That first page that you're showing has 2 classes that I want to highlight. The first one is a grants class that's taught by Susan Smith, and Susan has over 10 years of experience of writing grants for nonprofits, and she's been successful with private foundations, government grants, and private corporations. And her Write On for Grants class is a new class that she's really emphasizing the writing aspect of the grant. Learn the steps of doing a grant, but also how to tell great stories in your proposal. And this class is designed for nonprofits, for administrators, board members, and faith-based organizations. So I think that's a great class that has a wide appeal. And we've listed the classes that have a scheduled online time as live online. So this class will be offered through Zoom. It's on a certain day. It's on Wednesdays from 11:30 to 1:30, so just a really long lunch hour for you if you want that option. And so there is a scheduled time, but it is fully online.
Got it. Okay, good to know. And again, it looks like it starts January 20th and runs until March the 10th.
Exactly. And Scott, this schedule is classes for January through March. Some classes start in March and then go later than that. But after making a lot of changes to our schedule this fall, we felt that doing a 3-month schedule was about as far out as we wanted to try to see in the future. I often joke that my crystal ball is broken, and we want to make sure that we're not changing things more than we need to. So
I understand.
On the schedule.
Well, and I would say in this year, Liesl Dees, everybody's crystal ball is broken. So you're in good company for sure.
Right. Yeah.
Definitely. Okay. And then the other class on this page is the Smart Technology and Social Media class?
That's exactly right. This is a class for those people who aren't sure that they really want an online class, because we'll be doing a lot of extra hand-holding, particularly to help you engage on different devices and also to understand the various digital mediums that you'll find on social media.
Very good. And I just want to point out the prices for folks who are watching us. They can see them, maybe a little small on the page, but for our radio audience, Liesl Dees, I just want to make sure everyone realizes if you are 65 or older and a San Juan County, New Mexico resident, you're paying, what, $5 for the class for up to your first 10 credit hours?
That's exactly right. And most of these classes are 1 credit hour.
Okay.
So take 10 of these classes at the $5 price, then that's for the whole class, and it's usually 16 hours of instructional time. So it's an outright bargain. And Scott, I'll point out that the cost is for New Mexico residents in general.
Okay.
So if you had a friend in Albuquerque or down in Las Cruces or Roswell, give them a call and say, hey, take this class with me. It's only going to cost you $5.
That's
so
a great point.
If you are a New Mexico resident and you need to meet certain residency requirements,
right,
we'd love to have you in the class.
Very good. So that's over 65. If you're under 65, I think it's still a bargain because it's $52 for this class.
That's exactly right. And for people who are out of state, it's $164. And that may seem more, but I know that I have happily given my parents classes for Christmas and thought, it's still a good bargain for them. I know the quality of the instructors that they're getting, and back in the days that they could come travel and see us, letting them take a class was a great opportunity.
Well, sure, and I'm sure they enjoyed them, and they may still be able to connect from their state if they wanted to, I suppose, right?
That's exactly right. Yep, I could convince them to tune in to something that has that kind of live online schedule and just get on New Mexico time.
Very, very good. Well, that's a couple of classes there on the ENCORE schedule. And then where would you like to go next, Liesl Dees? I'll let you kind of direct us here.
Awesome. Keep going on to the next page, Scott. And let's talk about exercise classes.
I see them.
We have both online exercise classes and some face-to-face exercise classes. And we know from students that this is an area that they really want to take classes in. For those who would prefer online classes, we've got a personalized yoga class and a personalized fitness class. And both of these have some scheduled time, and also will have some things that you can do on your own during the week as well.
Okay, but these are more face-to-face than you're saying, right?
So those ones were online, and then we've
Pardon
got
me.
a lot of other face-to-face classes, and again, in a number of different locations. We continue to offer classes at the Bloomfield Cultural Center.
Right.
We've got a lot of things at our Health and Human Performance Center, and some of these classes are actually full already because, in part, we moved students from fall for classes that didn't make into classes for the spring. But we do have room in a number of the classes.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
Yep.
I think I'm looking at the second column there, Liesl Dees, which shows some room numbers over in the HHPC. So the yoga, the senior fitness and maybe even Pilates fundamentals for graceful aging. Look like maybe they're going to be face-to-face.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Very good. All right. And
if it doesn't say live online or online and it has a room number, then it's face-to-face.
Gotcha. Okay. Next page, I'm looking at Strength and Stretch in Bloomfield. So obviously that's a class in the Bloomfield area.
Yep.
The Cultural Center gym.
If you just keep going through these exercise pages, you'll see a wide variety of classes. And if you do call and discover that the class is full, we highly encourage you to get on our wait list, because if we have enough people on a wait list, we'll try to make another class. It's a little more complicated these days because we're trying to space out classes and make sure that we're communicating well with the Health and Human Performance Center about classes that they have going. We're all keeping classes smaller, so it does mean that we won't have as many options in the same class.
Right. Gotcha. And I saw there's another class being offered in the Kirtland area. And then as we scroll through, a couple of new classes, movement with a side of yoga, and grief, loss, and the good life.
And that one, Scott, takes us into our humanities section. And I want to brag on your 9 a.m. co-host, and that is Megan Cullop.
Right. Thank you.
Teaching that class, and she taught a class for us online in the fall. A lot of our online classes unfortunately canceled because people told us, we're really not interested in online learning. But Megan had an end-of-life issue class that was a fabulous success, both in terms of enrollment and in terms of what people experienced in this class. And now she's back to offer grief, loss, and the good life. And lest you think that this is going to be a downer of a class, the perspective that she wrote in the course description is, when we learn to deal with grief and loss, we find ourselves gaining a deeper perspective, fuller wisdom, more expansive gratitude, and a vibrant life. So I think there's a lot of great stuff going on in that class.
Definitely. And I can see why it was well received. A similar class, not this exact same one, but any of her classes would be well received by her students. So here's another one coming up beginning on, looks like January 21st.
That's exactly right.
Okay. Moving through, go ahead.
Moving through, we've got a lot of great writing classes online, Scott. So we've got a creative writing class that is at your own pace. That one doesn't have any scheduled time. And that's with another one of your employees. Just thought of that, Tracy Helsbass.
That's right. There you go. We're all over this catalog. I love it.
A published author who now hosts a KSJE radio show right on Four Corners, we said in the publication.
Nice. See it right there. Exactly. Wednesdays at 10:30. But this class is online, and it's at your own pace, as you mentioned. So that's great. I see another writing class, Our Lives, Memoirs, and More. That's another one.
Yeah, a lot of great opportunities, and the Memoirs and More is one of your, I would say, friends of the show, Vicki Homestead, who on your 9 o'clock show gives the regular weekly count.
She's our calendar queen, we call her. Yes, she keeps us on date as to what week of the pandemic we are in on our COVID information program. So that's great. Okay, moving along. Let's skipping a couple pages here. Go ahead.
As you go through the section, you'll find other classes that are actually hybrid classes. We heard from a lot of students who really wanted face-to-face classes, but we know that we want to limit that. So we've got a class, for example, Herbal Myths, Magic, and Mirth. And that's a class that's about the history and practice of herbal medicine. And it's going to be a combination. They'll have a few face-to-face sessions and then do much of the class online. So really, really excited by that format.
Okay, I see that there. Very good. Excellent. My guest this morning, Liesl Dees, is joining me here, and we are talking about the spring selection of classes for the Community Learning Center, the ENCORE program, the continuing education classes here offered from San Juan College. And the catalog we're looking at covers everything from January through March. And again, what happens after March is anyone's guess at this point, but that's what we're talking about this morning. Very good.
Scott, one last class in the humanities section that I want to mention, and that's a Western Women Writers. class. We offered this class a few years ago, and it was very well received, and so we're going to do it online this semester. It's taught by Stephanie Moran, who has taught in Durango for a number of years and has a wealth of teaching experience and is excited to share all sorts of female authors.
Okay, very good. Excellent. All right, where to next, Liesl Dees?
The art section, Scott.
I see it right there. And if you're following along at home, we're on page 10, everybody.
There you go. We've got a number of classes in this section, too, that we're doing hybrid. We know that students would like some hands-on help, and we'd like to keep them at home some as well. So things like our design and basic bench skills and art jewelry making will be a combination class this year, some face-to-face and some online. One of our other successes from the fall semester was a World of Watercolor class that Michael Bullock taught that was fully online. So we're going to do that one fully online again, and that was a great class and very well received.
Very good. I'm seeing some stained glass classes there as well on this page, and certainly something for everybody, depending on what you want to get into, right?
There's a lot of variety in the art classes in particular.
Definitely see some jewelry making and maybe some multimedia wire and stone classes, cloth, textile arts, and that takes us over to math, science, and engineering.
Exactly. And with that is another one of our successes from the fall, and that was Constellation Mythology. It wasn't a big class, but the students who took it with David Mayu all had extremely positive things to say about the class. And this is a class that David has offered in a different format as a regular credit college class, and the students really enjoyed having this in the online format, and you could do really cool things through the planetarium software. David is our planetarium coordinator and astronomy assistant professor, and he's been at San Juan College for 24 years.
Excellent. Well, I know his planetarium shows are well received as well, so this is another great way to learn more about the skies and the mythology, as you mentioned.
Next up, Scott, I want to talk about our music classes, and I know you know some of the things that were offered this semester because I've heard you promoting the concerts that they did this semester. And
True.
We offer enrollment in things like the West African Drumming Ensemble, Jazz Combo, Jazz Big Band, Concert Choir, Concert Band, and Orchestra.
Very good. Excellent. And these have been these groups, these ensembles have been practicing and performing safely and have been able to have their kind of final exams, if you will, recorded. And then we've been happy to be able to publish them and share them with the audience and the community in this edited fashion. So I think it's been great.
You know, I played in the Jazz Big Band again this semester, and I was in an ensemble of, 5 people. And it was so much fun. It was, like my one highlight, and I get to leave my house and go do something.
There you go.
And it was a really great experience.
Very cool. So there's band. I'm looking at, and I see choir is on this in this section as well. Some the concert choir, the vocal ensembles, and of course the jazz combo, the jazz big band, the concert band. There's all different types of sizes of musical gatherings, right?
Exactly.
And all done safely. If you can do it in 5 group increments, that's what you did.
Exactly. And there were different protocols for different groups, but everyone was following social distancing, wearing masks, and following cleaning protocol.
Very good. Well, excellent. Okay.
And Scott, I want to point out on those classes, too, that these are ones that regular college students are in that same class. It's a combination of community members and oftentimes younger musicians who are playing. We've had dual credit classes, and we do take younger musicians in these classes as well, and those are specified in the course descriptions. So if someone is playing at, say, a high school level ability, that they are welcome to join the class, and there's more information about that and how to contact the instructors with questions on that.
Gotcha. So they could be taking that class for credit for their degree, I guess.
Yes. Well, and if they're taking it for their degree, they register through enrollment services. And if they're taking it just for personal enrichment purposes, we'd love to take their enrollment.
There you go. Okay. Understood. Excellent. All right.
Great.
Where to next, Liesl Dees?
Going on to our non-credit classes, I'm just going to hit a couple of these.
Okay.
One is a fabulous series that we have, and it's jumping over, Scott, to page, let's see, got to get a page number, 20.
Okay.
And it is a backyard conservation workshop series. This we have done in conjunction with San Juan Soil and Water Conservation District. They have had a grant to fund this, and they've had fabulous giveaways as part of these classes.
Wow.
They are being offered fully online, and that's what we did in the summer and fall last year as well. And I've taken 2 of them and have just loved them. I did the backyard water harvesting, and I did the xeriscaping one. And, I kind of thought that I knew a lot about xeriscaping. I've been doing gardening here for forever, and just came away with really cool information. And I think the other one I did was the cover cropping class,
Very
composting
cool.
mulch.
Yep.
Or a version of that. I think I did the weeds and cover cropping, actually.
Gotcha. And I'm looking at some of the things on the catalog there, Liesl Dees. It talks a little bit about for that composting, mulching, cover cropping, you get a free soil test, which is important if you want to know what you can grow well and what maybe you can't grow well. That would tell you, I would think. There's free seeds in one of the classes about the invasive weeds and cover cropping. There's some free trees and shrubs in the advanced tree planting and care class. So lots of opportunities.
And the experts who have taught these classes have just been top-notch. It's been really great. When we were face-to-face, these were big classes. And online, they've still been decent classes in enrollment. But what we're doing this time is that we'll take up to 40 people, but the first 25 students registered get the free materials.
Okay.
So if we go over 25, you can still take the class for only $10, which is still a bargain.
No kidding.
Just great information.
Very true. And I guess maybe at this point, Liesl, we should mention how folks can register. I know it sounds like a broken record, but for folks who are joining us maybe for the very first time and going to take the plunge and maybe take their first online class, they can also register online in most cases?
They can if they're a returning student. The easiest thing to do is to call us.
Okay.
And to call us at 505-566-3214. And that's the Community Learning Center and Center for Workforce Development phone number. And we are not open to the public. We have not done any face-to-face registrations, but we will be happy to help you with a credit card over the phone. And if someone does need to pay by cash or check, we will work with the business office to make that happen if someone needs to come in face-to-face, but we're not taking any face-to-face payment at our office.
Okay. Good point. Good to know. And again, that phone number is 566-3214.
That's exactly right, Scott.
Everybody can call.
You've said it enough times, and I feel like we've had enough conversations that you can come over and answer the phone. And
Well, I keep waiting for you to forward one of your phones to my office, but it hasn't happened yet. I'm probably grateful for that, but it could happen any day, I know. So that's good to know.
Go.
And I think we should be mentioning too, Liesl, everyone maybe should be aware that the college campus and the San Juan College closes for 2 weeks every holiday season, our winter break. And so I would assume at that time you won't have as many or even any at all folks able to answer the phones during that break time between December the 21st and January 4th?
That's exactly right. We'll be back on January 4th, and we always come back early that day to start getting all those messages off of our machine that have come in over that time. So we will get back to you just as quickly as we can on January 4th, and I'd love to have you calling in as soon as we're back.
There you go. So depending on when this program is airing, you may be closed, you may be back open. We'll leave it at that.
We may be just back open if
Yes.
you're hearing it on January 4th.
That's right. Exactly. Okay. Where to next?
Scott, I want to take just a few minutes to talk about our Center for Workforce Development classes, because we've got some great offerings in the Center for Workforce Development. Most people will know the Center for Workforce Development as a department that had been at the Quality Center for Business for many, many years. It used to be called many years ago the Business and Industry Center,
Right.
And they've been offering workforce classes for many years. A few years ago, we combined our publications, and then we combined our departments, and we are all now down at the 30th Street Education Center. And we've really got a wide variety of types of business classes, ranging from a one lunch and learn type of class. Judy Castleberry is doing 3 different Wednesdays with us, and Judy had been the director of San Juan College's Enterprise Center until she retired, and she is still an adjunct faculty at San Juan College in School of Business.
Very good. I'm looking at the page right now out of the catalog. So Lunch and Learn is one area, but there's so many others. I'm looking at upskill classes, workforce training on demand, and customized corporate training.
And one of the things to realize when you look at the schedule is that you see classes that are designed for a wide variety of audiences. So the first classes that you see are academies that are longer classes. We've got CompTIA classes that are computer skills that are really designed for skill building for a career and really launching a career in IT. These classes lead to certifications, and so they are longer and more expensive classes, right, because of what you're getting from it. But you'll also find these classes that are a whopping hour and 15 minutes and $19 in this section. So a wide variety of classes and price points here, and time commitments.
Right. And so I guess if my employer said that I needed to get some certification and some computer training, maybe I could find it here?
Exactly. And Scott, if you don't find it here, call us, because we have a lot more curriculum that we don't have listed in the schedule, and we would love to serve your business needs. We would love to help design the kind of class that you need for your business. We've got a lot of qualified instructors and look forward to meeting people's specific needs.
Good to know. And we're looking at the Lunch and Learn schedule on the next page with Judy Castleberry, as you mentioned, and Dr. Nicholas Jew, another instructor there. And so as we keep scrolling through, where do we go next?
Let's talk briefly about SHRM Essentials, and that's on the next page, Scott.
I see it.
And SHRM is one of those acronyms you hear tossed around. It's the Society for Human Resource Management. And this is a class designed for basics in human resources. And it's appropriate for both non-human resource professionals, and it also meets requirements for continuing ed requirements for human resource professionals.
Okay. And again, they're available through the continuing education department here at San Juan College. Folks can sign up right just like that.
Exactly.
Okay.
And a lot of classes that you see in here are fully online, take at any time kind of classes. Other classes, like the SHRM class, are live online classes where they have a scheduled time and will have a Zoom component to them.
Very good. Well, Liesl Dees, we're just about out of time this morning, but what else can we highlight in our few remaining moments we have together?
Just a couple of quick things. We've got some bigger classes that are in Microsoft Word and Excel, and these lead to certifications. It's the expert certification in Excel and Word. Those are longer classes. And then lastly, we have fully online test preparation classes. So things like the GRE, the GMAT, the LSAT, those are online classes that we're happy to get people enrolled in.
Okay, good to know that these are available and that folks can register for them through your department, through your website if they haven't taken a class before that, or they can call you and get signed up, correct?
Exactly. We would absolutely love to hear from you and answer any questions that people have about classes.
Very good. And so, Liesl Dees, the catalog that we looked through, this is available online through the college's website?
That's exactly right. If you go to sanjuancollege.edu/continuing education, you'll find it.
Okay, very good. I was going to call up the cover here one more time, and there it is, so folks will know what we're looking for.
You can find it through sanjuancollege.edu/ENCORE /CLC for Community Learning Center. There are a number of ways you can find this schedule online.
Very good. Well, Liesl Dees, it's always a pleasure to talk to you and just see just the vast majority of classes, the whole variety is what I'm trying to say, of classes that are offered in the spring and basically year-round from the college. And great to know that folks are still signing up and enjoying them and on an online fashion, and we hope to get back to face-to-face just as soon as we can. But until then, the classes are still available, right?
Exactly. And, we really want to serve people however we can. We will offer classes as we are able to face-to-face, and we hear a lot from our students that they want that, but we will also be making decisions prudently and following all the public health orders. And we're excited for the online learning. We just had some great experiences this fall of students doing things they never thought they would. And that's what we want to see. I
bet. Well, that's a great opportunity for sure, and folks can still be safe about it and be comfortable. And if they're online, they can be in their own homes and still go to class and still learn a thing or two.
That's exactly right, and we'd absolutely love to see more of that.
There you go. Well, wonderful. Well, Liesl Dees, it's great to have you on the program as always. Thank you so much for joining me. And depending on when folks are watching this, it's either Merry Christmas or Happy New Year or welcome back to campus.
Yes, and say goodbye to 2020, right, Scott?
We will say goodbye to 2020. That's very true. So thank you, Liesl. Take care and stay well.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. Bye now.
Bye-bye. That's Liesl Dees, everybody. She is the Director of Continuing Education here at San Juan College, my guest on KSJE.